Hello everybody, how are you all doing? Hope you're having a wonderful day. We are going to do more programming today, so let's get right to it. Programming. Yes, programming. Uh, the plan for today is actually pretty simple. We're going to continue the work we did last night. We're going to try and get the landscape to generate a massive texture file, and maybe we might do a chunked or some variation thereof. So let's get right to this. So we are right here where we left off. We can import the mcal textures. Absolutely no problem with that. Although I do want to actually refactor this so that rather than just grabbing the mcals, saving them, and then outputting them all directly, I would like to get it to import them into memory as textures that we can access and use, and then optionally have a button for saving them as an asset. I don't know if we're going to get to that tonight. Right now I'm just fine with them being assets. I would like to work on generating the textures. Now, unfortunately, a lot of this work that we have done in here is going to be repeated for this first variation. It sucks, but it's going to make things a little bit easier. So I was also thinking about it, and with layer 1 being the bottom layer, I think going R, G, and then B makes the most sense. So I'm actually going to change this to R, G, and then B. So right little change right there. And time for some music. Oh, Invincible. Nothing quite like the death of the Lich King. Ooh. I feel like there needs to be more data here, but that's all the data there is. So I don't know how we're gonna get this better. All right, so now comes the time where we have to create a composite texture, and then bake that out into an asset. Which actually kind of brings up a question. How big do we want this texture? If we go with the mcals are effectively 100% of the map for each chunk, that's 64 times 16. What is that? That's 124. So that's not a terrible resolution. It's a 1K map. Now and that's assuming that we're just going straight with the values that we have for the mcals. The problem with that is that the textures we have for the everything underneath is going to be bigger. How much bigger? That's the big question. I mean, if we assume a 2K map, let's just assume that for a moment, and let's even go further. Let's make it a virtual texture, which would be kind of nice. At 2K, that's not bad. But we are still squishing down a lot of the values. It might make things look blurry and not quite as good. This might be an instance where we want to give the user the choice of texture resolution for the landscapes. So. At any rate, let's start with we have our basic data. So now we need to go through and start building our actual texture. Now, the question here is how exactly do we want to do that? Do we want to do it chunk by chunk, which would probably be easier, but then we have the trouble of trying to stitch it all together. And given the problems we had trying to stitch together the landscape height map, I'm a little hesitant to do that. On the flip side, trying to do the whole thing all at once means, we go to the end of one map chunk, and then we have to switch to another map chunk and do that separately. I think doing them as chunks and then trying to mix them together might be a little easier. And then there's also the question of what's the resolution, what's the scale for the textures that we're pulling in. I mean, are those a 1-to-1 scale, or are those some other scale? As far as I can tell, there is no information. Yeah, why do I have it? Oh, crap! I got a second one here. No wonder. Why? Yeah, there is no information about that in the WoW format itself. It's odd. I don't know why. Let's open up the ADT and just take a quick look at it. So, M textures. It's just a list of the textures. Headers. It's just telling us where things are. Coordinate systems, maps and blocks. Height, split files. Information on the doodads, information on the WMOs, water. Okay, here we go, chunk data. Several texture layers. Mostly offsets in here. Alpha maps and MCal and such. Okay. Well, I haven't ran into that yet, but we might have to worry about that. All right. Vertexes. Okay, that looks like some sort of alpha or some sort of lighting setup. Vertex shading. That'll be important later. Oh. How are we going to do vertex shading with landscapes? Worry about that later. Normal vectors for each corresponding vector above. Yeah, that's fine. Here we are. Texture layer definitions. Rotation speed, offset, and MCal. So that's the layer, and that's the texture ID. Effect ID. Nothing in here about, how to determine size. So let's see what it actually says, though. Every texture other than the first will have an alpha map to apply blending amounts. The first layer is rendered with full opacity, which is to know which alpha map is used. There's an offset in the MCal chunk. That one is relative to MCal. You can animate these by setting flags. Only simple linear animations. You can set the degrees and 45s and Yeah, it tells me nothing about how to scale the actual textures. Now they are talking about an MTEX. Yeah, MTFX. Here we are. Same number of entries. Texture scale. Texture scale is not an actual scale. Default is 0. No extra scaling applied. Values are computed as one shift texture scale. Oh, frack. Okay, these are mostly just flags. Okay. Yep, I think we're kind of done there. Alright. Okay, so... Is there a way of doing vertex shading on a landscape? Yeah, mesh paint. Well, I suppose the way to do that would actually be... No, that wouldn't work. I was thinking, well, we could just add another layer and, you know, put all the paints on that and then multiply it or something. No, that won't work. Let's actually do a search. I'm gonna move this off screen. All right. I'm not the only one asking. Okay. Okay, so it looks like there's no answer. Or rather, the answer is no. So, even though landscapes are going to be probably the better option, we are going to lose some stuff there. See, here's the problem. I need a weight map or multiple vertex, you know, paintings. Now, in theory, we could do it just, you know, block per block, but that unfortunately means, you know, we can't use one landscape to rule them all, which is the ideal. You know, this would be filled with MCALs, and then every block on every ADT file would have 256 textures for the MCALs and 256 materials. And that just does not seem efficient to me. Now, we could do the one large texture to rule them all, but that doesn't let you make modifications. As far as making modifications, it would be better if this was a landscape, but the landscapes don't support vertex colors. I don't know, maybe I just didn't look hard enough. Yeah, let's actually type this correctly. Vertex painting. Wait, what? Landscape vertex paint layers. Ah, okay. I mean, I suppose that might be one way to do it. So, what I'm reading, and what I think might be a plausibility, is as far as vertex colors go, we might want to set up basically an RGB, layer colors. So in the material, we would actually have a channel that's red, a channel that's green, and a channel that's blue, and then we separate that out into 3 separate paint layers that go basically on top of everything, or underneath. I don't know. But if we make that basically a landscape paint layer, it might work. Might also create a whole bunch of problems. It's something we'll have to look at and consider, but I think we need to get the landscapes working before we worry too much about that. If static meshes could hold, weight maps, that would be the ideal. And I don't want to, make them, skeletal meshes, because then they can't be nanited. Yeah, I either need to be able to have weight maps on a static mesh, so I can use that for effectively, doing the form of vertex painting, but I need more than 4 colors. Alternatively, I need landscapes to have vertex color support. So, one way or the other, I think I'm screwed. This is the problem with, trying to do something creative and, convert stuff. Not everything converts. Why do we need vertex paints? Because Northrend makes a lot of use of them. And probably so does every other landscape. It's only, Cataclysm, Cataclysm would probably use a whole bunch of them too. It's just, Wrath of, everything before Wrath of the... So, Burning Crusade and Vanilla didn't use vertex colors at all in their landscapes. Vertex colors gave them a whole bunch of new possibilities without having to add new materials and textures. Because ADT files were limited. So they were looking for new ways around that. Do I have to manually add... do I have to change the code significantly? That's going to change the engine source, and I want to leave this as a plugin. first need to add a weight map attribute with the attribute editor. What? Oh, okay. Okay, that's something in the displacement setup. Might have to look into that. I don't know. The other option is, can I get multiple vertex layers? Vertex weights. I got this mesh paint tool that keeps popping up. Alright. No. Landscapes are the ultimate direction that I want to go because they're going to be the most editable. Unfortunately, I don't know if I can do vertex painting with them, and that's going to be troublesome. I want to come in here and make a change and seeing it and I'm not happy with it. Yeah. Take that. Alright. So for this, we want to come up here. Landscape mesh type. That, and that. Let's start with procedural mesh, which I think is what this needs to be. And then that, which needs to be just mesh. There, that will clean things up. Alright, so now we won't get all of these when, you know, things are set up. Alright, so... So with this, I can get the vertex colors, but I can't get the painted vertex colors. I don't know why it's black in here, but alright, well. So no. UV channels would not be the way to go. Collision, no. That's not bad. Vertices, colors, all normal. All right. There we got the normals. Oh damn, this is chugging along. Let's turn off that. That's a little bit better. Okay. Tangents, binormals, simple, complex. Vert colors would be one way to go. The problem is, I'm limited to 4. So for this whole thing, I'd only get 4 colors for the materials. Unless I break it up into the 256 blocks. So block, 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 block. And that makes things difficult, because it's going to be a lot of assets, which is going to be terrible for performance. Because this single mesh plus 256 materials, that's 257 draw calls minimum. Probably more, because I have this this water on here as a separate one, so that's going to be at least. I think that's considered. Is that part of the same mesh? I think it's part of the same mesh, but it's a different material. So that's one more material, so 258 draw calls per ADT. Now that I think about it, that's not that bad. Until you multiply it by 4,096, which is the maximum number. So let's actually, let's do that math real quick. So 258 draw calls. Well, no, let's look at this again. 256. Plus 1 for the mesh, plus 1 for the other material, which would be the water. Yeah, 258, good. Times 4,096. Which means you're looking at over 1 million draw calls just for the landscape, for the whole entire map, maximum possibilities. Let's not forget that we also have to have the WDTs in there, or the WMOs in there. And then all the little doodads in there. That's just going to shoot it up even more. Now, on the plus side, that is the maximum possible ADT files. In this particular one, you know, there's not 4,096. There's about what was it, 600? I can actually find out exactly. Uh, 658. So, you know, let's take our 258 times 687. That's not bad. That's 177,000 draw calls just for the landscape. And keep in mind, that's for the entire map. So, it would be troublesome, but we can make it work. The downside with that is, then we can't use the actual vertex colors we're going to need later. So, can't do that at all. So it looks like our only choice here is to use the MCal textures to create our landscapes. And then leave the vertex colors as vertex colors. Have to leave the meshes as meshes, or the landscape as meshes. Not happy about this. We're missing... We're going to lose our ability to edit it with using, procedural or static meshes. Static meshes are a lot easier to work with because it saves the data. What's even worse for us, though, is, procedural meshes take forever to save. They're a little bit more editable, but they're still pretty bad. They're effectively static meshes. They're just generated at runtime. Now, we could reduce this down to 3 draw calls by using a single large texture, and that's per ADT file. So that takes us to, I don't know, less than 2,000 draw calls for Azeroth, just for the landscape. Now, that's pretty good. Now, you're probably asking yourself, why am I worried about draw calls? Draw calls are how many times your GPU is asked to, draw something. You got to do it once for the model and once for every material. So if you have 2 materials, that means you have to have 3 draw calls. One for the model and then 2 more for the remaining, for the materials. Because that's how GPUs work. Doing too many draw calls is going to be troublesome. That's why, artists spend so much time in, working on their games to reduce the draw calls. Because we don't know who's going to try running this. I mean, I can run this no problem, but I've got a 3090. If I could get the landscapes to work just like these. Like, basically, take this and then transfer it directly to a landscape. That would be nice. The problem is, landscapes aren't... We're having trouble building landscapes, and then getting them to connect one to another is even trickier. Right here, let's set this to mesh and create that one. And look at that, they match up perfectly. You can't even tell there's a seam. But let's try that again, and we'll delete these. Oop, did I? Ah, crap. Well, that's why I have this one. So, now these are both landscapes. We'll create them. They'll do their best. What? What happened? Oh, that's right. I changed things up. So this is the landscape, and it actually looks pretty decent. It's just, you know, even though it looks like it should match up perfectly, it doesn't. And even worse, it doesn't match up with the others. But as a single object, this looks fantastic. Now, I did do some changes, which is why, you know, we're having trouble. All right. That was close, yeah. Now, unfortunately, creating this landscape, you know, we'll just generate that. And creating this one, well, that's just a procedural mesh. Now, what this was supposed to do is on this extend it out. Now, that's actually something that, you know, I've been wanting to do is, you know, now that I have the landscape here, and now that I can figure out what the uppermost or ADT file is, which actually I don't have, it would actually be aligned with that. I can find the leftmost and the topmost ADTs, place the landscape origin here, and then hopefully get everything to generate out the way I want. But that's the more advanced landscape stuff I don't want to deal with in the streams anymore, because I'm still trying to work with it. But if I had the old code where they actually generated landscapes next to each other, you would see that, you know, even though that they come in and they look good, they don't line up. So definitely gonna have to solve that issue. I'm just gonna close this and reopen it so I don't have to save anything. Oh, you know what? Let's build this real quick. You know, this has already started opening. I feel like I haven't done anything. I don't think I haven't done anything. Have I done anything? I added the conditionals for the components. Yeah, let's cancel that. Alright, so we've gone through, we talked about a lot about how we want to do stuff. We've done some research on what we want to do. And kill that. Build this. And then we'll reopen. So, in terms of writing actual code tonight, where do we want to focus? I want to get the landscape fixed, but, you know, that's a bigger, hairier mess than I want to deal with right now. The least editable version of this is going to be a procedural or a static mesh with a single large texture on it. I don't like the concept of having every chunk have its own material, but I'm starting to think I'm not opposed to it, because, you know, I wanted to reduce the number of draw calls, and with Azeroth, you know, 177,000 draw calls, just over, just for the landscape, and that's the entirety of it. That's not bad. And that's assuming that every single one has one material and a water material. Oh, no, wait. That's assuming every single landscape has 256 materials and a water material. So 257, basically. That's going to make the mesh really hard to work with, because that's going to be so many materials on there. Alright, let's open this up. Hopefully those components will disappear if we don't have them selected. Alright, so if I select this... Hey, look, I don't see that. Alright. Mesh. Procedural mesh. Oh, you know what? I got it backwards. ADT actor. I mean, it should work the way I was thinking. You know, if we have this set the landscape, we should see... Oh, yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I just got it backwards. That's fine. Yeah. Ah. So, this is going to be our pinnacle, I guess. This is how the landscape will import. And we need to, I guess the first thing to do is to split this up into 256 materials, rather than one large material. Well, actually, no. That would be dependent on our some of our options here. Okay, so I think we need to make some changes here. So, let's go into here. Let's go to WoW version. WoW version's down here. And there's the factory. Oh wow, is it under formats? It is. Alright. Alrighty, so the landscape setup. Let's copy that. We'll go terrain. So, in the terrain, we need material setup type. Or, no, not material setup type. Baked material setup. Baked material setup. baked material setup. And this first option is going to be single multi. Single material setup. Multiple material setup. Material setup. A single texture, material, and texture pre-baked. Well, actually no, just a single material and a large pre-baked texture. Multiple materials per ADT, but somewhat edible. Alright, come back down here. Terrain, there we are. Terrain material setup. And yeah, that's actually what we should be doing, is terrain material setup, not baked material setup. Terrain. Alrighty. Alright. How the materials for ADT meshes should be handled. And actually I'm going to come up here and I'm going to swap these, because I want multi to be the default setup. And I probably have to come into here. Terrain material setup. Don't think there's really anything else I have to do there. Alright, so is that sufficient? Should I put this kind of functionality into the ADT file itself? No, it's going to be here. And only here! All right. All right. There's that. Let's double check that this is working, and then we can actually make it functional. First step, of course, is going to get the terrain to have the full 256 materials when it's fully baked out and that it's all properly set up. Then we can actually start working on actually building the material. The good news is, using the multi-setup, we could actually get this whole thing to maybe work tonight, even. Alright, first things first. That format, terrain, yep, multi-material setup. Multiple materials per ADT, but some editable. Okay, let's kind of tweak that a little bit. But can be edited. But can be manipulated. But the materials can be edited. All right, let's make another one of these. Terrain, texture, size. $1,024. Don't think I need a tooltip, do I? No, I don't think I need tooltips. One K texture. 2048. 2K texture. 4 and 8. 496. I forget what the next one is. It's like 81 something. 892. Okay, there we go. Oh. Alright, terrain, there we are. Terrain, texture, size. Alright. How large of a pre-baked texture should be generated? Now, we actually want to have a hide value for this guy. So, yeah, actually, I don't know if we have meta on that. I think we do. Yeah, we do. All right. Edit condition. Terrain material setup. Equals single. Or should that be a negative or not? We'll try it this way. I do have to get a new mic. This one's... I'm not happy with the audio clarity with it anymore, especially since I've been listening to it while editing. Also, the arm's starting to give out. I don't really have a way of fixing it. Unfortunately, it's coming at a time when there's a lot of different things that I probably need to spend my money on, and I was hoping not to spend it on audio equipment in the near future, but may not get a choice with that. May also have to go with a device like a Go XLR or something. I think I'm getting an XLR microphone. That's going to be expensive, but it's going to sound good. Okay, so that's not disappearing. Oh. Ow. Yeah, did that wrong. Did that wrong. Alright, let's see about this. Okay, we're seeing landscape info. Well, mesh. Yep, that's good. And procedural mesh. Yeah, good. So that one works. Alright, good. Let's close this. Let's get this to bake again. Now we're not going to use the terrain texture size just yet, because we actually have to, start writing that function, and I'm kind of holding that off. I might do that off stream or later. Is that built in the assets? I think it's built in the assets. Water, mesh. Okay. Material data. Okay, did I not build this with that in mind? Ugh. Okay, we have the MDM. There we go. I think we'll probably default it to 4. Alrighty. I'm actually good with all that. Pardon me. Okay. So this is easy. We take that, and at the start of every block, we paste. Material index is going to... Material ID is going to be the index. Just makes it easier. Alright, so this comes up here now. Although technically it could come right here. And then we just do that. And if I did this correctly, which I'm pretty certain I did, this should work. All right. Oh. Actually, now that I think about it, that will just edit it for everything, won't it? You know what? Let's do this. If AT source WoW version terrain, what was it? Terrain material setup equals terrain setup multi MDM equals a fresh new material. Else okay. bum, 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 bum. Then we'll come down here. Single. Okay, that should do it, actually. Unless I completely got that WoW version dot wrong. We'll find out here in a moment. It's either going to compile, and then we can test it, or it's going to fail, and we'll have to fix it, and then we can compile and test it. Either way, I think I might have to take a bathroom break here in a little bit. Alright, it failed. Undeclared. Oh, okay. So... Okay. Yeah, okay. Now remove that. Actually, you know what? Yeah, let's just grab this. And we'll just, by default, set the material instance to 0. And, well, I'll just put that in there just in case. Well, actually, you know... Because here we actually have index as well. Yeah, that'll be fine. Why is there a space there? Which means we don't need that. Does that mean I can... No, because I need that there because we may be adding multiples. Otherwise, we just add a single. Then we add that data. All right. Let's try again. I think I need to grease this thing. There's a can of WD-40, Bobby. Ah. Am I doing this from asset? Oh, okay then. Then just WoW version. For some reason, I was thinking about this in the actor. All right, this is where we go use the bathroom. Be back in a bit. I'm back, and apparently there was an error. It's not a member? It's probably a pointer. Once we get some of these technical issues out of the way, functionality, this should work. And if it does, the easy test for that's going to be simple. We can import one, static mesh and see how many materials it has. We swap it over to the other system. We import another static mesh, like its neighbor, and we see how many materials it has. Theoretically, it should be 257 and 2. All right, that worked. Good. Because keep in mind, the 2 I would grab would both have water materials on it. And if it does work, then that means we can start building the materials that we need. I wonder if I should build the materials inside this functionality. Alright. Swap this over to mesh. Create landscape. Okay, that's got 2. Yeah, we were on single material. Now multi-material. Multi-material! Mesh. Create landscape. Oh. Oh my. Something did not go well. Only has 2 materials. Oh, what's this? Looks like it's the first one, right? Yeah. So, I did the... Wait, did I also do the last chunk? Is that what I'm seeing over there? No. Okay, so it only did the first chunk. Okay. So... how did I fuck this up? Oh... that'd be how, yeah. Here's the problem. So for every block, this is going through and it's getting the material, it's adding the vertexes and all that stuff. And then it comes through here, and the only one it really has access to is the last one. So I think what we want to do is we want to add the material data. What the? No, I'm saying cut. Why are you doing that? All right. So here we're going to actually add that data. So So which means we're going to need this up top. What the hell? You know what? Let's close this. No, don't save. So what we're going to do is we're going to do what we did before, but at the end of the points, we're actually going to add this to the system if it's already there. Otherwise, then we're going to come in here, and if we are still using this other system, MDM equals MDG material data index. And it should be accurate. So that should just set it to our local option. Hopefully that works. All right, let's try building. Single should still be functional. That's the good news. And it did look like it was functional, so. Hopefully this is, completely functional. It should be correct. But there's a lot of things that should be, and very few that are. Alright, so first things first, let's check what our version setup is. Single material, let's switch that back to multiple. Let's create a mesh. And it looks like failure once again. This time it doesn't even have terrain. Cannot create mesh, no data to convert? What? Cannot create mesh. And that's from the actor point of view. Generate height, generate this procedural mesh. Could not generate. Cannot create mesh. Why is this not letting me go to things? Create landscape. Generate height as mesh. Generate height as procedural mesh. Generate height as mesh. Could not generate static mesh. Cannot create mesh, no data to convert. Well, maybe doing it as a procedural mesh would give me more information? Nope. So, I have thoroughly and utterly somehow fucked it up. Alright, well, let's check this with this other one. Leave it a dual procedural. No, just, yeah, it's procedural mesh, will be fine. Let's do a single material setup, which is how we had it before. And that should work just fine. But if I switch this to a multi-material setup, the only thing that looks like it works fine is the water. I'm wondering, is the vertex data here? There's no real way for me to see vertex data, is there? Yeah, I want to see the vertices. Can I do that as a mesh? Cannot create mesh, no data to convert. I'm sorry, I see water there. That should be convertible. I think it's the actor, right? Yeah. All right. And no, let's just do one. All right. if that and greater than 1 and not and, or that is greater than 1 and yeah, let's do this. Proc index count equals 0 for int 32 I equals 0. I is less than getting a mesh sections I plus plus index proc count plus equals I. Enter. So now if procedure count is less than or equal to 0, all right. So this should be a little bit more procedurally friendly, especially when we have more than one procedural mesh num sections. So if nothing else, this will save the data, the water data. I hope. I mean, we still have to figure out why this is not working over here. I mean, by all accounts, it should be. There's no reason for it not to work. At least that I can figure out. I mean, here it's generating a new data. It's setting the ID. It's setting all the the vertices and all that stuff. And then here we're setting that value to the one that we just added, or the one that we added at that point, which should make it just pick up index. Both these are set up to work. Yeah, it should work. And do I have to reapply it down here so that index equals that? Let's do another build just to be crazy about it. Yeah, we can test multiple things at once, I think. I mean, in the likelihood that it fails, and there is a good likelihood that it will, we should still be able to test the other setup. If it works, however, we could temporarily disable this last step in order to test that other one. I mean, we could just try opening it up right now, but I kind of want to let this build and see if, maybe that was the one thing we had to do. We just had to reset that thing. You'd think it would be like a what's it? We're not copying it. We're just trying to. Yeah. I suppose what I could do, any worst case scenario, is just replace all instances of MDM on here with no, because we still want that to connect up with the single build. So, don't know what's going to happen there. Let's go mesh, create. Hey! What do you know? It worked. And it created a static mesh. And it has only one material. Okay, so that did not work. Delete that. Yep. So we need to actually come over here, open up that. I'll move that to the other window. Probably should have checked on that first. All right, multiple material setup. So we'll now find out if this works. There are two things we're testing. One, if it does not work for some reason, then we'll be testing to see if it generates the mesh for the water only, which would be nice to know. If it does work, then yay! Okay, so it partially worked. We're still having the issue where it only grabs the first block, but look at all that water, and we didn't get too many issues. And it's saved this as a mesh. So now we just have to figure out what the hell's going on with why is it only grabbing one block? So this looks like this might have been the issue, but why is it only grabbing one block? I mean, you know what? Let's come over here and see if that does the same thing. It's got all the water and it has one block. Yeah. Okay. Do we have it set to only do one? This should be one mesh with 256 materials on it. That's why it's in just one groups of data. We don't need a second group for the material. All right. I don't want to do this, but copy, paste, log, processing block ID. %I. Processing block index percent I. Dot, dot, dot. This should just go 1 through 0. Yeah. MDM material ID. So we should be getting a message with 2 identical indexes. Yeah. Okay, so that should line up the numbers almost perfectly. All right, let's close this. Build. And we'll see what's going on. Well, the block index should be, just fine. But this will also let us know if we're actually accessing this. Apparently we're accessing the first one, but none of the others. Oh, could it be that? Oh, yeah, it could be that. It could be that it's not working because it's, doing the point counter, and with each material data, it has its own point counter system. Why didn't I think of that earlier? So when it's trying to go through this, it's trying to look for the index, but it's also adding point counter. Well, point counter is going to be effectively 0. I mean, yeah, point counter is right there. It's 0. You're not going to get that many indexes from these guys because it's separated out into a completely different material. There aren't more than 145 indexes for each of these materials in a multi-material setup. I hope I explained that correctly or clearly. Basically, when we're doing it as a single material, we need to have this point counter offset in order for it to actually get the correct number for the triangles. We don't need that in a multi-material setup because each one has its own set of indexes. That's more than likely the issue. All right, let's get version up. Move that off to the side. Come back to Azeroth. All right, we are. I'm just going to save this now that's in multi-material setup. We need to set this to mesh and generate. Well, okay, nope, that didn't do it. But let's see, processing block ID, material ID. Yep. Okay, it's getting all the data. I'm seeing all the block IDs correct. Next, let me close that window. Okay, so if it's not that, well, I still think it's that. I don't want to go through all that. Okay, let's try this. How many points are there? So how many vertices? MDM. Vertices, none. Vertices, none. Vertices, counter. Vertices just count. And then point counter. Let's get 2 birds with a single stone here. Okay, I think we can safely remove that and that. Because we, the good news is we know we're getting the correct indexed material IDs, so we're good there. And it looks like that data is being set, which is how we got at least one triangle. Now we just have to figure out why the vert count and the triangle counts aren't working. Alternatively, what I could do, so let's come here real quick. Okay, that's reading from the file. Alright, generate mesh data. For group. Okay, so it's doing it as a separate group data. Right? No. No, it's not. Group ID, group name. Oh, we had a failure. MDM undeclared. Oh. Okay. And there's that. Material indices map. Alright. Delete that. Create landscape. Alright, that didn't do anything, so. Okay, so Group data indices I plus what? Okay, there's group data, material indices. Okay, okay, yeah, I got it. Makes sense. Seriously? Yeah, material data add. Alright. Create landscape. Wrong. Okay. Yeah, vertices count is 145 across the board with a point counter of 0. So that makes sense. Unless what does this say when I do this? Vertices count is okay. 37,000. And it just increments up correctly. Alright, so I was right about the point counter setup, but why it's not connecting? That is an interesting question. So here's what I'm seeing. I am seeing these points are being added correctly, which probably means the UVs and everything else is being added correctly. We are then storing that data into the group material data, which is fine. And then we come in here and we are grabbing the material data. Now, in there, we do have the access to the vertices. The vertices only go up to 145. So there's only 145 in this one group. Is that how I'm processing it on the other side? I'm only seeing 140, the first 145. So this code may be correct. It's just not correct on the next step. Alright. So I guess that is the next question. You know, we built the data. So where do we build the procedural mesh? I think that's over on actor. Generate height as mesh. And here we're actually, you know, say procedural mesh to static mesh. Yeah, generate height as procedural mesh. Generate height as procedural mesh. There's the mesh data. Oh. Okay. For int 32 I equals 0, I is less than num plus. So material data is I, and I. There we go. So that was likely our problem. We need to create the landscape mesh for all of it, not just, the one material that we had. The question is there something for... I don't know why this doesn't let me do go-tos right now. You say you're ready. You're still doing that? Okay. Now, what I don't know is if this will work in creating, the multiple materials. Or is it going to create... Is it going to create one mesh with multiple materials, or is it going to recreate the same mesh for each material? So instead of getting the first one, we're going to get only the last one. That's what I don't know. Let's go down here to the WMO actor. Import doodads, generate blueprint. I just want to look at this real quick. Okay. Okay. So we come here. We come here, we do a job. They asked us to stir the tanks, we stir the damn tanks. Okay, so that means we gotta have a an index here. So, 32 mesh section equals 0. Mesh section ID probably is the better idea for that. All right, so here we're actually going to want to create new materials. So we have a water material. Where did that come from? It's probably in here somewhere. Yeah, water material. So U material interface, huh? Let's do a null pointer. Well, actually, no. We're going to want to, well... do we go through and actually make the material right this second, basically? Or do we just let it go until later? Okay, here it's actually looking for the water material. I mean, I suppose we could, set up a water material or a landscape material. That's actually something we need to do. But first things first, let's just get this to actually have, a 256 materials on the mesh. We'll just tell it to be null pointer. I didn't think I'd be going back to the landscape mesh objects anytime soon. But, it makes sense. We gotta get this new material setup going, so... The 256 material setup, I'm not happy about it. But, it's gonna give us probably the closest to all worlds. Because we'll have the vertex colors, we'll have an editable material, editable layered material. Alright, let's save. Alright, we're on a multi-material setup, good. Create landscape. Oh, no, it just took a while. Look at that. It actually worked. And if we come in here, it's still one material. Okay. So the good news is all this code actually works. It's just this issue. This code now. Um, hmm. All right, let's see. Create collision, that's what the last number is. Okay. Triangles, vertices, section index. Oh, yeah, it created the water. Is there a way of like just add collision? Create mesh section. Get num, get proc mesh section. Set collision, collect visible, set update. Also, we can update. Create scene proxy. Get num materials. Alright, so alright, so what happens if I come here, add that, and make it a null pointer? I mean, is the problem we're having here the fact that the first material doesn't have a material assigned to it? Why is it that? Where is that? Okay. How do we set that, then? How is that getting set? Alright, first of all, clear section that. Procedural mesh set visibility is true. Clear. Yep, okay. Generate height as procedural mesh. Maybe there's something with the saved procedural mesh? Okay, that's the landscape. There we are. Okay. So that's where that's getting messed up. All right. Let's close this. Static material list. You know what? I think it's this. Material slot name. F string printf text. Section well, actually, maybe it should just be, section number. Or %s section %i. Now, ADT source, or no, get label, no. What was it? There was a way of getting the local actor. Acid, I should say. You know what? We just did this with over here. I think it's up here. Yeah, there we are. Base file name. So, ADT source. Base file name, and then the section is going to be section index. Imported material slot name. Copy, paste. All right. So that should solve that particular issue. We will find out. I mean, I suppose I could just, you know... Nope. Yep, had some problems. Syntax missing that for what? Oh, okay, I see now. You know what, let's do this then. F name, material F name. Build me an army worthy of mortal. You heard him, guys. We gotta get to it. You know nothing, Jon Snow. Ooh. Don't worry, sir. It's only temporary. Invalid arguments. What makes you think it's an invalid argument? Oh, do we? I should probably rename this ADT package name. But, you know, that doesn't really have anything to do with the, you know, source code functioning or not. That's just a clarity issue. So I don't mind, you know, making that particular save after we build. Oh, yay! Scream like Kermit. Yay! I might have to end soon. Again, really early, but I'm starting to lose focus. And I don't want to do that. Alright. Create material. This is taking a while, but, you know, so did last time. Alrighty. So far, so good, except the material for the water doesn't look like it got applied. Well, that's okay. We might be able to fix that, but hey, look at that! Slot name, section 0, 1, 255, 256. Wait, is that saying that the... isolate. Oh, okay. What? Alright. All the landscape imported as a single material element. And the water came in as element number 2. It shouldn't. It should come in at element number, 255. Or 256, rather. Because apparently this starts at element 0. Okay, so... yeah, kind of a good news, bad news situation. So, good news is this is actually generating all of our materials in terms of names. Bad news is it's not getting all of the instances correct. Okay, section ID for num sections. So it's getting the number of sections for the procedural mesh. It's generating a material for that. And then it's going through the polygons from the mesh description. Static material list. Static mesh description, mesh description. I think I'm going to have to look this up because, for some reason, this program isn't giving me data at all. Okay. Compute triangulation. Create edges, create polygons, triangles, vertices, indexes. What about polygons? Returns f polygon array. Which includes an f mesh polygon and a polygon ID. What about f mesh polygon? It's just a structure with a constructor. This is not what I wanted to hear. Polygons. Yeah. New static object. Yes, yes, yes. For static material list. Build from static mesh descriptions. Okay, so we have static mesh descriptions. That's not right. Yeah, F mesh description. There we are. Okay. Get triangles. Get connected triangles. Polygon attributes. Attribute set. Element ID. Get value. ToString. Alright, procedural mesh with local materials. Yeah, that's what I did. Number sections. Yep. So it's adding the static materials to the list. That's correct. Well, basically, we're not building materials the way the mesh the way we want to. Good news is just doing this, got us the actual materials in the object, but now it's causing issues. This could be an issue with building our material or our groups. And maybe we need to consider it as a separate group. Yeah, it is a separate group here. Alright, well, let's try that. We'll just do it as a separate group. How about that? Actually, no. That needs to stay the same. What needs to change is in here. Oh, no, that won't work either. Unless... we do that. Which means we need to come down here, cut that, add that, come up here, add that, come down here, and set mgd equals to the mesh data group at index. And then reverse that. In theory, that would work. If it's, an issue with the groups. I honestly don't know. We'll try. I mean, it makes sense. Everything else is working. So why not make it a separate group? Actually, if we do that, then we don't need to do that. Because the index for the material ID isn't going to change if we increase the group. So let's do that. And that. Maybe this will work. Maybe it won't. Maybe I'm too much of a cuckoo to notice that, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. But I wanted to get it to Cocoa Puffs. I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. So, I was paying attention to the Star Citizen servers today, and they were not good. They put out a patch, and now it seems to be much better. Hopefully we can still do Star Citizen Sunday tomorrow. I'm going to have to kind of do some investigations early in the day, see if the servers are stable. If so, then we can play. If not, oh well. And I am starting to fall asleep now. Yeah, my ability to focus is starting to wane pretty heavily. Alright, we crashed. Yay! Where did we crash? 614, huh? Ah. Knew I forgot something. Just felt like I forgot something. A little thing. No, these are actually pretty good. These are green tea infused mints from Trader Joe's. They're pretty good. If you like green tea. If not, you're probably not going to like them. I'll tell you what, though, I would like to see some black tea ones. Just suck it and then, oh, the key caffeine! Yeah, that's the good stuff. Alright, here we go. Generate. That was fast. Back to that, huh? Okay. But wait. Rather than doing that, we need to do that. I0 I0 I0. All right. I suppose I could just do, you know, no, okay. Let's see if I can hold out for like another 15 minutes or so. Get us to 11. What are you doing? I'm cranking that shit to 11. It goes to 12. Shh. Getting the weight. I don't like how long this takes to build now. Oh. Okay, we got this to fully build. The water is still not correct. There are indeed all these materials. Let's check and see. The water is still ID number 2. So that made no difference. So I feel better. Yeah, all right. Like that. Let's come back here, undo all that. Okay, so that just undid all of that, stuff of converting, into groups rather than that. Because I was thinking, well, maybe it's that, but no, it's not. So there is a problem in the mesh generation setup that we have. For some reason, building from a mesh description from the procedural mesh is not grabbing the materials, which is making me wonder. Are we making, materials for a procedural mesh? So let's just create a procedural mesh landscape. Delete the static mesh. All right. So the procedural mesh has all of the materials properly set. So yeah, it's not an issue with the generation of the procedural mesh, because that's actually working correctly. If I set that to Abbey Bookshelf, that should be the first block. So we come up here, yeah, look at that. That got set correctly. So why are we having an issue saving this over to a static mesh? What happens if I hit create static mesh? World Azeroth, or not world maps Azeroth. And when I do the procedural mesh, it breaks it down to just 2 materials. Okay. Even though I specifically set. Alright, what happens if I set this to back to Abbey? And let's set that to, say, Anvil. Alright, now if I save this to a procedural mesh, will it, or a static mesh, alright, delete that, create, fine, meshes. I don't want that, but, Alright. Okay, yes, this actually does have the 2 materials. So the issue isn't, us having any particular issue. The issue is, why is this not having lighting? Yeah, there's no lighting in here. So the issue isn't that there's no no material, it's just that there's no material applied to it. And that's why it's, you know, kind of cleaning things up like this. All right. So what we actually need to do is come in here, or one of these spots. I think we're coming in here. Okay, I feel like this is fine. We need to come in here where we're building the mesh. Okay, that's saving the procedural mesh. Generate mesh's height here. This is... Actually, no. I think what we want is over here. Where is the water setup? You know, we had that section. Huh. Great. Now I can't find it. Ah, right there. There it is. This is what we need to do. We need to come in here. We need to create the materials and apply that. So let's start work on that. Let's see. Material interface. New material. Set that to that. Why am I not getting... Close that. Maybe I just need to close and reopen it. Yeah, I got it. We're supposed to be on the other screen anyways. Well, this looks like it might actually do what we want. Takes a while sometimes, but yeah. So just starting with a new material interface is going to be a big step. What we really need to do is, for each of these, we need to build a new material, or rather a new material instance. The problem is I don't quite remember how to do that. Let's jump over here to WMO assets, because I know how to do that there. In fact, group data, material IDs. No. Load files. Oh, maybe it's under actor. I actually build... Yeah, that makes sense. I'm trying to keep stuff out of assets and put more of them into the actors. So, hey, look, it worked. That's actually generating stuff. Yay! Yay! Okay. Get name, rename. Alright, where am I? Bake lights. Generate blueprint. Import doodads. Alright, WoW import factory. Import asset type. SWMO. Yep. New object, WoW version, yep. Alright, so input, check. Load files. Okay, read the data, generate mesh data. Oh, here we are. Okay, material list push. Gotcha. Why is there an extra space there? It's gonna bug me forever, isn't it? Oh, probably is. Generate materials. Here we go. Da 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 da. Okay. Instance parameter name. Gotta move this to the other window just so I can keep track of it. So, we don't want to use WoW Material Instance Standard. We actually want to create a new material, now that I think about it. But we still need this to be an instance of it. So, probably the first thing we should be doing generate parent material. Generate or update parent material. You know, I'm going to take this and call this parent material. Call this landscape. Terrain. Terrain material. Used for the terrain or terrain parent. If terrain parent equals null pointer, so if it's the terrain, if the terrain material is empty, what we're going to, first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to look for the source material, or the source, and we're going to see if there's a, so, you know, the first thing we're going to do, basically, I'm going to delete that now, I don't need that. Delete that too. We're going to come here. What we're going to do is we're going to look and see if there is a source ADT file. We're going to look for that name, but the material instance that we need for that, which would likely be kept in assets. So we'll come in here and look for, I don't know, do we want to do an M prefix setup? Anyway, to look at it though, we're going to have to come into here and get a landscape instance. So what does this guy look like right now? Okay. Not terrible, not good. So what we actually need to do is we need to create a new landscape material. We'll call it terrain multi. So let's come in here. Let me just drag that right there. Where did I put the material setups? Oh, right there. All right. So, generate collision material, generate parent material standard, standard day-night. All right. Copy. Paste. Generate parent material terrain multi. Multi section. Oh, should we do terrain and assume that that works for everything? Or do we even need to? Here's the thing. We could probably get away. No. There is actually going to be separate. So we'll actually create terrain and then terrain single, because that's going to be a singular material setup. Yes. Terrain to Wayne. It's a little harder for me to type today. I hurt myself, so. All right, there we go. We now have terrain and terrain single. The terrains in your area are single. All right, well, material, terrain. Generate material. What? How is that? Yeah, no, that should be there. Yeah. Well material function, well material instance. Those are all accurate. We'll do single later. I'm more concerned about getting terrain working. So one of the nice things about me being a programmer with stuff like this is you look at this and there's a whole bunch of stuff that I can just copy and paste, but then we get to here where we actually create the material, and there's a whole lot of. So you got to ask yourself, how do I do all that? Especially when there's all sorts of different setups. I mean, look at the standard material. This thing's massive, all sorts of setups, and it's not always pretty. And you need to be able to update it, and it's it can be hard sometimes. So how do I do that? It's fairly simple. I come in here and I make the material, and then I copy and paste it into a script I have, and then that converts it over to C++ code for me. So let's create our temp terrain. So this is going to be our stand-in. Oh, actually, yeah. I actually have a folder here, design. So WoW material. Okay, so did I have? Does not look that way. Yeah, I might have to do that later. So fairly basic. In fact, let's just come over here to the WoW landscape material. Oh, damn! No! We're not doing that. ADT material. Nope, not doing that either. Yeah, let's just come in here, look at WoW landscape. That's not too bad. Copy that. Paste into here. Let's get this all cleaned up. Alright, specular, roughness. Where are these? Oh, okay. Alright, so we're going to need one for that. Actually, no. This is going to be an interesting one. Alright, we have our tiling. Now, let's see. Okay, right there. This actually needs to be a different one. So tile layer, yeah, tile layer 0. And we're actually not going to have a normal map. Actually, we will, but it's because, you know, modern game setups require it. I mean, I suppose we could, you know, design this to allow people to put normals into the tiled system. All right, tile layer 1, tile layer 2, and tile layer 3. Let's put these all in a group, and we'll call this source textures. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. How did I mess this up so badly? Okay, there we go. So now we need another one. We're actually going to put this at 0. And we're going to call this the MCal alphas. Make sure we get all these UVs connected. Now actually, up here we just want a single coordinate because the MCal is going to cover everything. We want these to have tiling on them. Now what I'd love to do is actually build a function where we can just, you know, punch in material, you know, the various tiles, and outcome will, you know, the full material, and then we blend based on that. And maybe that's what we should do. Do we have anything? Make material, make layer material. What's this do? Sure. Yeah, we'll use make layer material. I mean, the other thing we could do, rather than doing tiling and doing all this in here, is actually make it so you can actually input the UVs directly. Do I have that as a function in here? Yeah, make it generate function. Yeah. All right. So, yeah, we'll do it this way. You know, I think we actually need to make it so this uses the preview as default. So let's come in here, material functions. Sort priority. This probably needs a moment to think about this. Yeah, think about what you've done, young man. There we go. Input as default. Use preview as default. There we go. Equals true. I don't know if my script took that into account. It's actually something to look at. I'll do that later. Alright, so now this will actually do the normal input and set that as a default. That way we can only have to worry about the colors. So what that effectively does is just takes this little box, which after we apply and compile, and head back here and drag this back in, you can see now this is not requiring a texture. So let's use current texture. Yeah. We need to convert this. Wow, it won't let me convert it. Okay. Texture object. Convert to texture parameter. So tile layer 0. Delete that. So that gets plugged into here. And we can take this, plug that into there with a reroute, which we're going to use on everything. For the moment, we're just going to assume that everything uses the same tiling. All right. So with that, I don't need this normal down here. I'm also not going to need these. And specular. Let's tell it to wrap, just to be safe. Yo, 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 whap around, yeah. That should be wrap. Sample source, let's actually come in here. Sample source. I have no idea what this is considered. Sampler. All right, sampler source. Oh, you know what? That's because that's not what I need to do. Texture sample. There you are. Sampler type. Sampler source. E-sampler source mode. E-sampler source mode. Wrap world settings. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to improve my script because I don't think I took sampler source or some of these other concepts into, you know, into there. At any rate, let's make sure they're both wrap. Good. Does specular need to be... No, we can preview that. There's one. Two. And three. I feel like maybe I should just do that instead. Alright, let's do a linear interpolate. Can I do... alright. Alright, blend... material attributes. Alright. So, layer 0, that's our bottom. Next we're going to do this, and that... Poor guy, couldn't feel his legs. Alright, so we know that that's going to be alpha, effectively. So we can pretty much ignore that. Alright, next up is C, and then B. And that use material attributes is basically our setup. All right. Okay, I think that's good enough. So this is the material for our basic terrain. And, we're going to just use this version for now, but I will later convert this over into source code, put it into here, and make it actually do what I need it to do. Actually, technically, I think it would be in here. Yeah, I would move that into here, and then from here we'll create the instance, and then so on and so forth. I'm actually really impressed with how far we've gotten today. I am ending just a little bit early, but I am pretty tired, and there's a lot of quiet behind-the-scenes work on this I definitely want to get done. But, I'm actually still really impressed that we, got this in, and it actually is generating the materials that we need in terms of, having it on the landscape. I mean, look at the procedural mesh that is making, 256 materials. Well, 257 if you count the water. So this thing is giving me, quite a few draw calls. 258 draw calls for this one material, or with one landscape. Now multiply that across all of these ADT files for the whole thing. That's a lot of draws. In fact, we could probably take a quick look at that. Set that all to procedural mesh and generate. Now this is going to take a while, but and that's only this is less than half. The good news is the generation is the worst part of it. After that, it's infinitely fast, especially when you're actually just looking at it on screen. What isn't good is when it's actually going to be saving, and we're definitely not saving it. Oh my. Oh yeah. I was like, yeah, let's just build them all. And nope. That's because we only have a handful of these actually loaded. I'd have to load up the data for all of these in before I could do that. But it took quite a while, then I just got these ones. I'm just happy that it's actually doing doing its job. It's creating all these materials. It's just, I feel kind of frustrated in that it's doing that. So, yay. Alright guys, that's it for tonight. Thank you all for joining me. This has been fun. Didn't quite go the direction I thought we'd go, but I'm actually really happy with it. Tomorrow is Star Citizen Sunday, starting at 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Time. Unless the servers decide to go kaputty on us. At which point, I don't know what's going to happen. We may delay until 8 and do a regular stream. I may cancel completely. Or we might just try it anyways. Keep an eye on my Mastodon account to find out. There's a link down below. I guess that's it for tonight. I'll see you guys later. Good night. Don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube. It really helps.